Hi everybody, Rabbanit Bracha here. Post Pesach, so many days of Chag and so many days of Shabbat. And now we have another Shabbat starting in a few hours. The Shabbat we will be reading Parashat Shemini. One of the most famous parts of this parasha is the story of Aharon, the high priest, Moshe's brother, his two sons Nadav and Abihu, bringing a strange fire into the Mishkan, into the tabernacle, and God punishing them for that. I don't want to focus on why or what about that. I would like to focus on the aftermath. What happens afterwards? There is instruction from God to Moshe, and Moshe to Aharon and his sons to stay in the Ohel Moed, to stay in the tent of meeting, to stay in the Mishkan, and not to leave, but to continue with their work, with their service. Then comes something that feels a little perhaps out of character, and it's a troubling moment in the aftermath of something so difficult when Aharon lost his two elder sons and his other two sons lost their brothers. One of the offerings, Moshe was following up on what they were doing, and he saw that they followed his instructions and they brought the offerings, but there was one offering that they didn't do exactly what they should have done. They didn't sit and eat the parts that they should eat as they should have. And what is so incongruent, what feels like such a sour note, it says, Moshe checks, it's se'ir hachatat, the sin offering, v'hinei soraf, and it was burnt, v'yiktsof. And Moshe got angry al Elazar v'al Itamar b'nei Aharon hanotarim. Moshe got angry on the two remaining sons of Aharon. And he says, why didn't you eat? You should have eaten from it in the Makom Kadosh, in the special holy place. I don't understand why you didn't do that. The Midrash tells us that Moshe's anger caused him to forget the halacha. Whatever he told them that they shouldn't show outward signs of mourning, public mourning, they should stay inside. Not clear that they had Shiva visits. It seems like they did not at that point. But Moshe forgot, according to the Midrash, that there's a halacha that the Kohanim in mourning are not actually allowed to eat of this korban. And we do see that right afterwards, Vaydaber Aharon and Moshe, Aharon explains to Moshe, but this wouldn't be acceptable to God because we're in mourning. So it would not be acceptable. It's not appropriate to eat it when we're not b'simcha, when we're not in joy. Vayishma Moshe vayitav beinav. And Moshe heard, and it was right. It was good. He understood. He remembered it. I'd like to take away, though, a teaching from this that I think is very relevant. When we're coming to a Shiva house, we're coming to somebody who is mourning, somebody who has had a loss. So of course, the first takeaway is we should never speak to them harshly. Even if Moshe thought that they did something wrong, he absolutely should have found a different way to tell them this. Never vayiktzok, never in anger. And who knows if he responded from his own anguish, from his own sadness, being an uncle. Maybe he thought that he had not given them enough instruction. Maybe he felt some guilt. We'll never know about that. But I think there's another powerful lesson that we can take from this. We have a teaching that when we come to a Shiva house, we should follow the lead of the mourners. Whatever the mourners are up to, if they want to speak, they should speak. If they want us to interact with them, if they ask us questions, or they want us to connect in some way, we always follow their lead. And actually, when a mourner is sitting quietly in silence, it is not our role as the visitors, it is not our role to begin the conversation. Our halacha says we should wait for the mourners to begin that conversation. And we have a teaching from a few psukim before, Vayidom Aharon, that Aharon was silent. And perhaps Moshe should have taken that basic halacha and said, my brother is silent. I also need to be silent. He is the number one mourner. His children are the number one mourners. We don't know if his son spoke. I could imagine they may have followed their father's lead. But that's something to take for ourselves. Let us take for ourselves that when we, all of us at some point or another, have had that opportunity, whether to be visited, lo aleinu, if that's happened to us when we've had losses, but certainly when we go to give comfort, the comfort doesn't need to be in words. The comfort needs to be following the lead of the mourners. Let's take that thought with us for whenever it will happen, that we will go and comfort. It is such a huge mitzvah to comfort people who have experienced losses, and let's make sure that we follow their lead. sending this thought with love to all of you at the Bayit and anybody who is watching or listening, and wishing everybody a Shabbat Shalom.